Hey, I'm Natasha Golinsky, and this is Never Launch on a Friday, the podcast about helping female agency owners and service-based founders achieve their goals through healing the root causes of what's keeping them stuck. If you're a female founder looking to chat one-on-one about where you're stuck, please book a coaching call in the show notes. I'm so glad you're here. Let's go. I'm just so excited to have Angélique on the call with me. Not only is she an amazing Canadian woman, she is also really passionate about a topic that I am truly passionate about, which is helping female founders shine bigger, shine brighter, and helping us remove what gets in our, I hate the expression gets in our own way, but the things we don't even know we're doing, right? That keep us from being able to achieve our goals. And as a TEDx speaker, former CBC Radio Canada journalist turned visibility strategist with 20 years in media, communication, and leadership, Angélique Binet helps women entrepreneurs build digital authority that converts into revenue. She's the founder of Social Media Love, a consulting and training company for women entrepreneurs, a creator of the Visible Method, a framework that helps women claim their voice and authority online. She's also the author of Are You Visible? Okay, you definitely have to tell us all about that. Work redefines visibility as an act of self-liberation, transforming how women see themselves and how they claim space in the world. Oh my God, I'm so excited to have you. Tell us a little about you and what kind of brought you to this point where you are now.
Well, first, Natasha, can I say thank you for being here and the power of our visibility, you and I, how we connected in the DM and we connected like that on the screen. And then we spent, I think, an hour or something that was supposed to be 20 minutes.
Yeah.
So thank you.
Thank you. Oh my God, I was so impressed.
So the story that I like to always share is yes, I'm more Canadian than French, but I'm from France, from a tiny village. Just imagine this, 250 people. Right? The old church in the middle of the village, the castle, the lake, and the farm. That's me in the farm, right? So I always say it's the hero story of that little girl at the farm who is wondering how the hell she's gonna do in her life to get somewhere else, to get to her dreams. I was a dreamer, active dreamer when I was a kid, and I was spending my life in the fields alone with my cats. And I knew, I felt, I didn't know, now I put words on it, but at the time I had no idea. But I knew that it was meant to be something else bigger for me. So I started to become a journalist. So talk about visibility, right? Yeah. You have to put your face on a TV. And then after that, you have to interview people, put their face on a TV. So that's when I think that's really where the cradle of everything, hearing those, especially women, having bold statements on TV in front of thousands of people. And at some point I was like, oh my God, I'm done with sharing other stories and I want to share mine. And you know how life, when you put something out there, you don't know how it's going to show up, but it shows up. And so if you move forward, now I'm in Canada where I was able to, I guess, carve that piece of me that helps not only me, myself, that's my story, but that now help other women to walk along me towards really sharing your voice and really believing that your voice is this is your tool. I know we talk about strategy and tactics, in marketing and sales, but the core of it is you, that voice. Woo.
Yeah. So from your experience, I know you've worked with hundreds of women, you've been on TEDx. I mean, I'd love to hear about your experience on TEDx before we move on. Were you nervous? What did you talk about? How was that experience for you? Because that can be hugely confronting, right?
Yeah.
Tell us about
it was. It's for me, I think now that I look back, I was very prepared, and something that was against my nature is I have a hard time with scripts. Even you ask me what question do you want? I have those questions, but feel free to ask me any other question. I'm very freestyle in everything I do, but with the TEDx, that was the first thing that really kind of constricted me. I had to learn to be okay with it, is to respect the script, because they approve your script, right? And when you're on stage, you have to be 95% the same words, otherwise they don't put you on YouTube. At the time, it was the case, right? When I was 2 years ago or 3 years ago now. So that part was a little stressful because I always have a tendency to go off And so it's funny because I literally, and I want to share this story. I love that you asked this because I was on a TEDx. I was selected. Everything worked out. And then still I reconnected with all me right on the first 3 steps that you have to climb to get on the red carpet. All me was there. And so all the things that I'm teaching that I implement for myself over the last 6 years, I had to make it work in a few seconds and be okay that all me was there, because it's always there until you notice that it's there and you're not this person anymore. So ultimate faith, I knew that the second I would go on step 1, step 2, step 3, I would be on the red carpet. I couldn't remember a word of my script. Yeah. And literally, so this is, I'm sure you love that word too, surrender. So this is the only way, or die.
So how did it go?
I surrendered. And so I'm going to make it slow-mo for you to see. Yeah. Imagine step 1, step 2, still don't remember. And then you have big lights. It's camera because they record everything. So you don't see the audience.
Okay.
And you're like big blank thing in front of you, but people are watching.
Yeah.
Then you're taking your position into the middle of the carpet, and the girl still doesn't remember the first word. Okay, but she trusts. She knows that she's been put there on that stage for a reason. But that level of surrendering, I've barely experienced this before. And believe me or not, the moment I opened my mouth for my first whatever, it came, and the teleprompter in my head started, and I was always a sentence ahead in my head. And then suddenly there is someone or something that says, tell me, we need you to be even more trusting yourself. So you're going to lose track of your speech in a few seconds, and you're going to trust that you're going to rebound. I'm making it very slow. It doesn't happen that way, right? But it happened. And then I lost track. And a friend of mine just had the last rehearsal in my kitchen before I flew to Atlanta in the US for the TEDx.
Yeah.
I had a last rehearsal with them, standing on a chair, kitchen chair, where both of them were watching me from the... And then my friend, who is now, I think, said, Angélique, you know what it reminds me? When I was at school, I was into theater when I was 15. And I remember a big show and I lost the track. And I remember what my teacher said. He said, look up, slowly come back, up, down. That day on the TEDx stage, when it happened that I lost my track, instead of going up, I went behind me, looking for whatever, came back slowly. Poof, I was back on the track.
Oh my God.
Until the end, and I was on fire. So if you know me, you know that at the beginning, because I know what was going inside of me.
Course, yeah.
But then when I lose again and I come back, boom, I'm fully in it. So that was you wanted to know, now you know.
And what was your talk? What was your TEDx talk?
So it's really about how our traumas, childhood traumas, are actually at the forefront of why we may have sales resistance. Why is it that every day you don't sell your offers?
Yeah.
Most of the women who come to me, they say, well, I have a strategy problem. But then when you start doing the work, all those things that have never been healed are the core of it. And that's why you and I, we get along a lot, because you are so in that world too. So that's about this topic and how it shows up in a very official way in your business. But what is the behind the scene of it? The subconscious mind, and how your behavior is on autopilot until you're aware of it and you can reframe it, and how you bring your nervous system as you are reshaping who you are in terms of how you feel, how you think, and how you behave and take actions from that lens of becoming the woman who has the revenue that she wants to have, the woman who has the visibility she always wanted in herself. So that's kind of in a nutshell what the TEDx is about.
Well, on that topic, let's talk about it, because that's what you're here to talk about. Tell us about it, because I'm the same. I completely agree with you that I learned the hard way as well. It's not, I don't know, I've paid for sure over 6 figures in strategy coaching and consulting and cohorts and communities and coaches and classes and courses and all of it, looking for a strategy that was going to help me get better results, right? And only until I actually stopped, looked at where the actual blocks were, was disappointed to find out that it was nothing to do with my skills. Like, I've been running my own businesses for 20 years. I was not in a skills issue. there was definitely something subconscious creating the block. And so tell us about your work with women. Tell us about a scenario of someone hires you for social media, for example. Let's say, how do you work with them? How do you talk about these blocks? How do you have this conversation? How do you create that awareness or the healing? Like, talk us through it. The typical scenario for a woman who wants to be more visible.
Yes. So as much as possible, I always ask or make sure that I invite people to experience some of the events I do in person or online so that they have a sense. I always get the same thing. People tell me, oh, I didn't know we would go there.
I know, right? No one thinks we're going to talk about this.
So, literally some of my workshops are called the 5 social media truths you can't ignore. And we're talking about the real things about, the marketing, what is marketing, repetition and all the things and how it has to be streamed to your sales system, all the things, right? But then as soon as you hit this, as soon as you talk about, so let's talk about your credentials. How much do you showcase them in your content? So there is things with a lot of women that they take for granted who they are and how they arrived here. And they completely don't even talk about all the milestones that led them to the point where they are today, never talk about it. And the day that we want to use more of, the credential part of their career, for example, to build trust online, because people love the credentials to feel safer when it's time to buy. But most women, we would never say that, for example, it took me to twist my tongue to say that I am a TEDx speaker. Even being it at the beginning, I was like, am I?
Yeah.
So another thing that I see when they come to me, they talk about the amazing work they do. And I'm like, wow, you're changing lives.
Yeah.
And then, well, nothing earth shattering. And then I have to mirror back, listen, this person that you help, that's her transformation because of the work and how you guided that person. Because I work with mostly coaches, consultant, service-based entrepreneurs. So there is transformation either of identity, business, etc. Right? So I see in those very transactional conversation, I see the limitation. And so that's where 6 years ago, I decided that I don't want to do any marketing or sales work with someone who hasn't gone through my framework that is what we call the neuro identity evolution framework, where we literally take time to see where we are at. So what do you believe about yourself as an entrepreneur? What do you believe about your offers? A lot of entrepreneurs don't believe in their offers. They're scared of talking about them because they're not sure that they're enough. So they're not enoughness and not worthiness. And the price setting, that's another big one where you see that there is an identity gap that has nothing to do with business, but all your life you were taught that money is dirty or money doesn't grow on trees or, all the past experiences you had in your family, in your culture, depending on where you come in your culture, right? So all those things are in you. You don't even notice it. It's in your subconscious mind, but it literally drives your business until you're aware of it.
Exactly.
And then that's why it's important to be in rooms with people who make their dream happen and have even bigger dreams because you see what they had to overcome or untether from so that they would allow the flow where they want to go.
But tell us about your framework, the one you mentioned. That sounds fascinating. You were saying that women have to do your framework before they work with you. So tell me about that.
So in the visible method, which is an acronym, I use V as voice. The first I is your ideas. I really believe that when you have an idea, it's gold. It's not just a thought. And then they come back, you're in the shower, you think about this thing again. And then you go to coffee with a friend and that idea comes back. They're okay. Even if we don't know what to do with it on the moment, teach women to treat them as gold. So you have a treasure box with those ideas that turns into businesses, offers, or experiences, right? This is your stories of life. What are the key stories of life that you want to curate and bring in the forefront of your marketing? And then the second I is your irresistible offers. So many entrepreneurs don't talk about what they sell. When you go on their social media, they talk about, they teach, they inspire, they educate, but they don't tell me. And that's how I start my TEDx. I scroll, I can't find it, but someone else is there, seems as good, and I'm going to buy from the other person.
Makes sense.
Right? So there is a lot of identity shifts. I just taught today this actually about posting about your offers from visit and even how much it costs, having your price being cool about it because people want to know. There is a lot of resistance around this, so much. It's so interesting. And then your belief, because when people come to you, as you know, they have a certain set of belief, right? And because they work with you, they shift their belief, they shift the way they saw their perceived problem, they shift the way they walk around their perceived problem, and they even find the solution working with you. And then your L is your leadership and E expertise, because most women entrepreneurs who build businesses, they had an expertise of some kind. They were really good at what they were doing. A lot of my clients were from the corporate world, and then they opened their own business. So we use that. And at the core of this, there is this neuro identity evolution framework where we start with literally allowing yourself to dream, letting go of the how you're going to make it happen. So we dream. We are, the word that is trendy right now is delusional thing.
Exactly, yeah,
Right?
yeah.
So we dream because, and then after that, I explain what we need to dream, because how the brain works. We work our brain with words and images that activate our nervous system and let our body feel emotion. So we learn how to feel those emotions of the vision in the present, which allow us to have some hormones kicking and the body feels good. And then we do that offer we would have never done before if we went from old identity to I want to do this. So we work a lot with mind and body. So I teach them how the brain works, how the nervous system regulation works, and it works together. So all the neuroscience, how the words you speak are fundamental to how you speak to yourself. But when you speak to your audience, you activate your audience nervous system as well. So we work around that a lot so that when it's time to create content or create offers and pricing, they can understand what is going on, why suddenly they're not ready to send the DM. Right? What is it? It is not because they don't know how to send DMs. It's like, what is going on? What is the thought loop here? What is it that I'm thinking? And then you pay attention that the radio machine says, sales is sleazy. Who do you think you are? And you're a business owner, so you got to sell.
Yeah.
So the visible method starts with learning about your body, your brain, learning about your nervous system regulation so that you can actually learn how to dance with your fears. Because each time you expand your business, you go in a new zone of unfamiliarity that is treated by your body death, right? It's the end of it. If I become someone else, if I say those words, they're going to judge me, reject me. So we need to be aware of all our limitations so that we can change the inner language in there so that we don't stop ourselves anymore. So we do 6 dances, 6 dance with your fear. So we literally have 6 ways of dancing with our fears. And then after that, you cannot not see what you are doing when you stop yourself, right? So this is the key to the kingdom, I always say. And what happens most of the time, Natasha, is that it unlocks the business, but it unlocks personal relationship. People get divorced, people get married.
I know. It forces you to be braver.
They come back to themselves.
Yeah.
They feel their feelings, which we never learned how to feel. So we have so many suppressed emotions. In our, like I bring that framework now as part of my marketing and sales work, is because I myself got sick because I was not using my body. I was an upper, right?
Yeah.
So I almost died, literally. The moment I started to feel my feelings, decades of feelings that were repressed, suppressed, oppressed. And then when you start to work that work, there is so many things that unlocks. It doesn't feel good every day, but it is magical. That's why my book, if you read it, it's all about my dreams. They came true because of that work.
Wow. Oh my God, I have so many questions. Okay, so oh my God, I don't care if anybody else listens to this. I am just blown away right now. So dancing with the fears, I do want to talk about that. I want to come back to that. I want to hear about the 6 dances, but tell us about that story if you're comfortable to share. I would love to hear about, because I had the same thing. I like most of my life, I've had so many surgeries. I had insomnia for 7 years. I've had cancer. I've had so many things taken out of my body and chronic pain and chronic migraines and so many things. So I understand this whole brain body connection. And I can definitely agree that for most of my life, I was always living my life from the position of don't be a baby. Don't be such a baby. Shut up, stop crying, get to work. That was, I don't know why. I have 5 younger siblings. I'm the oldest child. So it's I understand that part of that is like illogical, that you have to be tougher and stronger and bigger. I understand that. But I completely relate to that. And I want to hear your story about the health because, oh my God, there's so many times in my life where I know what this is. I know what this is. I don't know about you, but I've read a lot of books about Louise Hay and how she like body maps, right? So breast cancer could be this, emotionally sourced from this, or migraines are emotionally sourced from this, or I used to have endometriosis. So endometriosis is of this, and you're like, that makes perfect sense to me. So I don't know. I know for me, that's something I've really learned to listen more to my body and just because again, I did have somebody tell you, okay, you might die, and hopefully it doesn't have to come to that from anybody watching that podcast. But tell me about your story. Like, are you comfortable to share? I didn't even ask you.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah. Because it's, I really believe that right now, if someone is listening or when they're listening, we're going to help you. I think what you share, Natasha, is exactly, I think I shared that. It's not always easy to put words on it, but I'm going to go, how most of us, we start life because so we want to be the good, we want what we don't want, but we're in a society of if you're the good girl, you have the good marks, you have the good job, you are the best employee, you want the promotion. So there is a lot of people pleasing going through all of this.
Yeah.
Because at the core of it, there is some of it that it's not for you. You have another dream that you are not following, right? So that's how, when I look back, like all the people pleasing, all the curving, bending, so that the family is fine, so that the boss is fine, so that the school takes you in. I'm from France and it's very elitist the way you get in school. So I was from that, I was good marks and fit there, go to Paris, like to study. And then funny enough, when I moved to Canada at 23, that was my first, and I didn't know at the time, I got sick for a year and a half with a mononucleosis. Where the hell is that coming from? And I really think, Canada is so spacious from a landscape perspective that my body felt released. And I couldn't walk. So I had to relearn to walk 1 minute at a time. I was really strong. So that's how the first blink girl got this. Didn't get it at the time because after that I did kind of that was a major one. The big one that happened was not too long ago. But this is when I realized that it's more than just the adaptive behavior to try to fit. That is exhausting for the body. It's like a betrayal as well, I think, for the body, like when you never listen. And then recently, so that was 2022, the first one, or 2021, I could feel that I was not expressing myself to my loved ones, and this is where, when you said I spent hundreds and thousands of dollars in the business stuff, training and other things, but I bet, and I see it in my clients each time, there is something in your personal life that is not settled.
100%.
And so there is something there that it's so scary that it feels that if you touch it, everything's going to break down.
Yeah.
But this is what brings the body down because it is never felt. So something that is never felt gets stuck. And then if you spend decades of your life not feeling your feelings, then it's literally like you need a granola, the thing for the sink,
The Drano. Yeah. I know what you're saying. Yeah.
So for me,
that word, I don't even know.
That's when I started to realize how much I never allowed myself to feel my feelings without judging them. And this is when I started to learn, and that's what now I pour into my clients, that the first thing for a woman and any human, but I work with women, is to learn to feel your feelings without judging them for how long you need to feel them. And you don't even need to know why you feel shitty today. And literally, when I started this work, it helped me express myself, not from a finger pointing, but from this is how I feel right now about this. And I want to share it with you because I love you so much. An example for a personal relationship, but I want to be true to myself. And then you really connect with your heart, right? And then speaking like this, and then I got really sick. It was so foreign for my body. What is she doing? And I got to ER and almost died from an embolism, a pulmonary embolism. And so I had 3 since then. But this is where you learn. And I'm sure that's something you experience with what you just shared, right? You recognize the signal when you're at a next threshold in your business or a next threshold in your relationships. The body started to ache at the same place. And I was, oh my God, I'm doing another one. So this second time, I'm not going to wait. I went to ER. But then so now I talk to my body when I get to the next level. I talk to it. I usually take a bath and then I feel the pain. Usually it's in back here. And then when I say that to the doctors, they're like, you crazy. You should come to ER. But I know that this is literally me growing.
Yeah.
And I need to slow down and feel the feelings. What is the fear behind it? How can I expand more of me? And my body is literally physically, it's like, if we do that, we don't have room for this, right?
Oh,
And when you were talking about your vision board the other day, I think it was recently,
yesterday. Yeah, yesterday.
allowing yourself to hold that vision for yourself that is so scary that you choose to believe. I love what you said about it. You said, and now I choose to believe it's possible for me.
Yeah.
This is taking a toll on your body. We cannot forget our bodies. Now, that's why part of the work we do, we bring somatic work in every piece. One of the things we do, if we take a big major, some of my clients started at $25 a service. Now they sell it to $2,000, right?
Amazing.
The body is like,
Yeah.
I'm gonna die, right? So some of the work we do, we rock the baby. We have so many ways to do it, right?
Yeah,
But
that safety, right?
it's all about the nervous system regulation and bringing the body in the business or in the relationship. I think that's what I've learned so far in the last decade, that the reason why we get so, for me, and it was really serious stuff that happened. And I really think and believe that I cannot ignore that I have a body, so the body first. So if you ask me a question now, for example, we said, when do you want to come to my podcast? I do it unconsciously. I probably ask my body first, right? After decades of people pleasing or saying yes, because it's a habit to say yes.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
I completely understand. I'm the same way. And I look at it, what people might not know that what that means, that term body first, but how I use that. And then I want to go to your 6 dances of fear because I love to dance and I want to hear what that means. So I look at it, I always do a gut check. And it's not even the gut check, it's a body check. It's a body scan. It's okay, I just went to this event last week and I haven't been to a live event in, I don't even know, like a conference. I flew and I went to the thing. I don't know, a long time, years, like 10 years. But I remember when it came up and I saw it and I'm like, it was a yes. It was a yes. And I'm like, what am I doing? I don't need more information. Why am I going to an event? And I'm like trying to talk myself out of it. But it was a very strong yes, yes, yes. And then, so I went, it was amazing. It was incredible. Came back. Oh my God, so many things that I'm implementing and changing. Then there's other things that are people, you want to go to this event. And I'm like, it feels cold. It feels frozen. It feels like closing. And it's the intuition. I think women are used to using the word intuition. And I think intuition and body scanning to me is a very similar term. You can call it whatever you want. It could be muscle testing. It could be gut feeling. It could be whatever. But it's like that choosing to how is your body responding to the hypothetical making of this choice, right? And I find that as well. I do that so many times. And it's like, sometimes I'll be like, what do I want to make for dinner? And I'm like, this or this. I'm going to make this, or it's so important. And I feel like women, I know for me, and I don't know about you, Angélique, for me as well, is we live so in our head. We talk about we live all in our head and not anywhere below our head, not in our heart, not in our stomach, not in our intuition, all these other places, right? Where our cells and energy and electricity and signals and nerves also send messages, right? They talk about there's so much energy that just comes out of your heart and not just your head. And so it's a valid resource of information, right? And we, for whatever reason, as a culture have learned, okay, what you think is the most important thing. I'm like, it's a piece of the puzzle, but it's not the entire thing, right? Anyway, I know this is not my interview, but I completely agree with you that it's like,
Yeah. Can I say, I think, Natasha, this is the only thing.
okay.
I really think so.
So,
And that's how we are so, this is why, when we say we are fully expressed, a woman who is fully expressed allows herself to listen to the body, allows to feel her feelings without judging them, allows to say yes without no explanation or to say no with no explanation, allows to not let what other people think of you be her business, right? And so that's that core, that's for me what it is to be fully expressed. When you get to that point of anchored in your body. And then after that, when you're anchored in your body, then you can access so much of the energy that comes from hygienic
Yeah.
body
Yeah.
in
Yeah.
terms of clean energy. When you on a sales calls, I see it all the time with myself. A sales calls where I feel clean energetically anchored. It's like, what? I just said this and it's already paid. And versus you can constrict it and then everything in your brain shut down. It's so I wish everybody knew how the body and mind works together, because it's so scientifically proven, and it allows us to actually go even beyond the intangible, the tangible, when you get to that level of being so anchored in your body, in tune, as
Yep.
you said, with your intuition, and not fighting against the reading of the body. That's the other part, right? It's the conditioning. Well, I cannot say no to my friend for that drink she wants me to go to. Well, you can.
Yeah, you can. Of course you can. Yeah.
It doesn't mean anything about her or about me. It's learning to own your voice like this. It transfers into business.
Absolutely. So, oh my God, I could just like have you on for 5 hours. So okay, 6 dances of fear. So tell me about that.
I don't have time to give you the 6, but one of them is actual dancing. Music is the language that bypass many part of the brain. It goes directly to your nervous system and it relaxes you. So when you work with me, we open every session with music. And at first, uppers who come to me, they're like, you want me to dance in front, it's just you and I on the screen? Literally crazy. That looks so weird. Yeah. So don't take yourself too seriously. And so movement, as you know, is moving the energy from the body, right? So that's one of the ways. Personally, I love to take a sales calls. I don't take a sales calls before I'm done dancing. So you literally dance because it changes your energy. You cannot stay in a state of after you dance on Lizzo or whatever song you like, right?
No, you can't. You can't.
It changes your energy. And when we change our energy and we go to elevated energy, our nervous system relaxes. When what happens, it opens new creative part in your brain. So when you say hello to that beautiful soul who wants to work with you, she feels it. Even if she doesn't think that she feels it, she feels it. It's like your dog or your cat.
Yeah.
The days you're constricted, I don't know about you, but my dog makes all the messy stuff when I'm like, "Rrr," right? And then if I'm chill, is chill. And kids are the same. And when you have babies, right? The days you feel shitty, like, oh my God. And then when you chill, our energy is everything. And dancing is a quick fix.
Mm-hmm.
It's not a thing to fix. It's a quick moving energy. We're not supposed to be high all the time.
Activation. It's an activation. Yeah.
It's learning to go with lower to higher emotional states in a quick heartbeat, right? Music does it. So we literally dance, right? We have some techniques around using your fear as a persona. So literally sticking to your fear. One of my clients, so again, she came for business and then she ended up healing her addiction.
Goodness.
Because of the work that we do, the conditioning that they are behind addictions, right? It's very biological, very like a neural pathways oriented. And that's why I say this work that we apply to business unlocks so many other pieces, because you cannot not see who you really are and how your body is craving for you to pay attention and to not judge what's happening. And, so there is that. We do a lot of personification, visualization. So we bypass the rational brain so that we can directly go to the subconscious mind and literally feel the emotions of the present as if it's already done, because the mind doesn't know the difference between what's real and what's imagined. That's why when we're watching a movie and we cry, it's just a movie, but we cry.
One of the things that we talked about in the premise of this call was about these fears that block visibility. And I think I probably told you my story was that I grew up in a family with a bipolar parent. And the entire purpose of my existence growing up was don't make anybody mad. Just keep the peace. Shut up, keep the peace. Because I had 5 younger siblings. It could have been a very dangerous situation. If he got mad, right? It could have been very, very, and I don't want to say he was never physically abused, but living with someone bipolar, there's other crazy things that happen, right? So I grew up, don't rock the boat, keep the peace, don't say anything that's going to trigger somebody. That was my MO my entire life. So I'm 43 years old. I cannot show up online. Like what people see now, I create content all the time. And they're like, oh my God, this is 1 year old. When I was 43, I am 45 now. When I was 43, I hired a coach, a content creation coach. And same thing, I wanted some support making videos. And like, cause I'm not shy. I can say anything to anybody. I don't care. I wasn't shy. I had so much to say. I could not do it. And she would try to coach me. I'd be crying and I'd like feel I want to throw up. And she's like, look, you're not ready. She literally gave me my money back and told me to talk to a therapist. You are not ready. And I did. And I went and saw a therapist because I was shocked at this response. Because anyone who knows me I'll be the one who's like, sitting beside her on the bus. I'm, oh my God, where are you going? I'm like just chatty and not shy at all. And I worked with this energy healer and we had to clear all this drama from my dad. And then all this fear of making somebody angry, and anger equals danger. That was huge in my mind. Anger equals danger. And I would start getting so activated just at the idea of somebody not fully being on board with what I had to say. And I know as a content creator, you have to have an opinion and you have to be not afraid to say it. And so I know this 100% firsthand. But as soon as I was able to clear that, and it did not take that long, I all of a sudden had too much to say. People will tell me, they're like, I can't even think of one thing to say once a week. I could post 10 times a day. And I can't because the algorithm will block me on LinkedIn. But so I had to diversify. And I've got Instagram and I've got podcasts and I've got LinkedIn because I have so much to say. And it's so true. The trauma and the fear and the belief and the root cause, it has nothing to do with social media. It has nothing to do with skills. Tell me what you think about that, because I have lived this 100%. I'm sure your clients are very similar to where I was, right?
And the same for all of us. We are trauma ambulant, right? Trauma is something happened, right? The event is done, but your body that day decided that the world was not safe. So you made it mean something about yourself.
Yeah.
And you're going to make sure until you're 43 or 50 or 60 that you will never be in that situation again.
Yeah.
Which brings all the adaptive behavior, people pleasing, controlling, all those things, right?
Yeah.
All those things that people say, oh, I am a control freak. Well, you're protecting mechanism, right?
Yeah.
So when you start to do this work, and after, as you said, you and I, we spend hundreds of thousands of, finding the business thing. And then you're like, oh no, it's about me.
I always think of that Taylor Swift song where she's like, it's me. I'm the problem. I'm like, yes, that is true.
And you are the solution. My coach says that you are the problem and you are the solution. And there is a big word, trauma, big T. People say big T, small T, whatever it is. I'm not diminishing anything, but a trauma is something happened. The body that day, your mind and body decided that it will never happen again. So you're going to walk in your life with that big backpack, as a friend of mine says, to make sure it never happens again until the day that you're ready to unload the backpack. And as you said, it doesn't have to be a 30 years therapy.
No.
And it doesn't even have to be a therapy. I'm not anti-therapy. It's not about that. No. But I'm not a therapist, and we do a lot of inner child release work. And just that, in 40 minutes, sometimes it unlocks the whole thing. Yeah. Number one, I think what's happening is that because the body remembers how it felt at the time, so it doesn't want to feel it anymore, and probably never allowed itself to feel it fully. So there is an unfinished cycle of feeling of that day. Because the minute you allow it, you just get your back in the situation, and you don't want that. Your nervous system is like, no, right? So doing that work helps you start feeling. We usually go with a little girl. We never relive it, but we go back and revisit, and we help her feel how she feels in the scene.
Yeah. You have to complete it, right?
Yeah. And from that, we really took her out of the scene. We validate how she's feeling, that any little girl in her situation would have felt the same, right? Because there is a lot of shame and guilt in all of this that comes with it. So releasing that, acknowledging it. And sometimes it's like just a basic inner child release to help the woman move through the emotion, feel it, finish to feel it. We scream a lot. We do a lot of primal work.
It's so good.
Yes. So the first time I did that, my husband almost called the cop because I thought that something happened.
You need to go to one of those rage rooms where you can like smash
Yes.
things and
We do some of that. If you have one in it's perfect. If you have one in where you live, and it's being okay that you feel your feelings. Why are you crying? I don't need to know why. I'm crying. So I want to share something because I'm still doing the work, right? I may be talking like you should do this or that. It's not about this.
we're all in it always.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This weekend, because you have to walk the walk and talk the talk, especially when people come to see you and they pay you for this.
Yeah.
I went to a show of my son's girlfriend. She's a bodybuilder, and I saw her like the dedication it takes, month after month. And I'm like, I'm going to your show. I want to see you on stage. It's the coronation of that, dedication. I arrived over there. I didn't know how to buy this ticket by that time, so it was full. And all me would have been hold it together. Literally started crying in front of everybody. I was really sad. And even myself, so Omi was like, "Are you really crying in front of everyone?" And knew me, it is safe. Plus, you're modeling what it is to feel, right? And sometimes you feel joy, sometimes you feel. I was really like, my body felt it. I was so sad, and the tears were coming, and I felt it's okay, it's okay. So I cried, and then we found a solution. We did the FaceTime. So I was in the corridor, and they were in the room with my son. But it's a very regular situation.
Yeah.
I cried. My body just wanted some tears. Your eyes blink, tears comes out. It's energy in motion.
Yeah.
And starting to be comfortable with who you are and how you feel is, I think this is what the transformation is about. So cry more.
Yeah, cry more. That is the lesson from today. So, okay, so to bring this to the circle about women and visibility. So for women who are very afraid of being visible, where do you recommend they start? And where do you recommend, or what reflection or level of awareness, what questions? Like first, because I hear that a lot. I get messages because I talk about root cause healing and I talk about trauma and I talk about, and people are like, I'm so afraid of video. I'm so afraid of this. I'm so afraid of and so it's very real, right? So how, for someone who's stuck there, what's your first thought? Or what do you recommend for that person? And then as well, what are some resources if someone wants to learn more about your work, where they could find you?
Yes. So if you were to talk to me and you share exactly what you share, Natasha, I would, we always start there. Feel. If you're telling me, that traumatized me, or I'm so scared of taking my video, like, it's okay. So instead of talking about it, that you're so scared, let's go there. Let's feel that fear. So it doesn't have to take an hour, but just that very simple pause. I usually ask them, where do you feel it in your belly or in your neck, or some people in their knees?
Yeah.
Right. And that alone can unlock the next phase of your visibility. Again, it's giving permission to your body. So once you've located, this is why it's we use a lot of nervous system regulation. We use the breath a lot where the body feels that it's stuck energy. And then, you don't need even to know why you feel so terrorized about the visibility. First, you allow yourself to feel that fear. That in itself is a gift because we always want to have the solution. I have a problem, give me the solution.
Yeah.
Well, you have a perceived problem because the way you are is perfect, right? And let's see what is actually going on in there. That's where, and sometimes there is an answer right there. And so what I like to do is called the body-based breakthrough. So when the person is safe enough, ask them to close their eyes, and we go and talk to that constricted area in their body, and we ask the body, what do you have to say? It's mind-blowing.
It's such a good exercise.
It's mind-blowing. You have your answer right there.
You do.
And most of the time, I'm sorry to repeat myself, but it has nothing to do with your business.
No, our business is a reflection, right? Our business is what our business is a representation of us, right? And so, yeah, oh my God, for sure. Okay, not
So
too
that's
fancy.
one of the way. And from a tactical point of view, once you I will not rush you towards, create content or do your video. So for example, right now I'm teaching a 4 video series about building content. And for each session, we have somatic work because there is always resistance coming. So
Okay.
it's being aware that anything that is new in the art of change, everything, people say comfort zone, right? Each time, everything you desire, the next revenue level, the next relationship, the next collaboration, the next stage you want to speak at, it is in the zone of fear, because fear is the sign that you are expanding. No fear doesn't move. You're the same.
Yeah.
And we don't want to be the same, all of us entrepreneurs. We want to grow. We grow our money, our impact, our relationship. You and I, we're passionate, right? But we have to bring the body with us.
Yeah.
Otherwise, it's
Oh my God. I'm taking so many notes. Oh my God, you're such a gift to women in your community. So, okay. So how can people get a hold of you if they want to
so
work?
I will always invite you to read my book or watch the TEDx. I could give you the link if you want.
Yes, please
I
do.
put them together so that people don't have to search for it. It's
Okay.
called the Social
Okay.
Media Love Essentials. So reading the book, actually, sometimes I have strangers reaching out to me and they say, well, page 97, I saw this and it mirrored something for them. And they literally, because one of my big dreams was to host a luxury retreat for women entrepreneurs in France, and it happened. So I share a lot about how the dream happened, because I believe in dreams. Dream, 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 dream. Otherwise, nothing can happen.
Yeah.
This is the power of our brain. We're so good, right? You can use the brain to put you down or to put you up.
Yeah, for sure.
Oh, wait. So the book, the TEDx, and then I have a podcast so that you can have a sense of, the conversation we have with Natasha, and
Yeah.
always talk to me. I want people to talk to me because I love gathering women. So I do retreats
Me
as well. So it's a good way to experience what we do.
Oh
And
my
then if you know that I am your girl, just reach out.
I love it. So do you use mostly LinkedIn, mostly Instagram follow you?
So I have my Facebook profile, Angélique Binet is really, and then my LinkedIn profile. They're my two channels where I spend time and interact with people the most. I'm
Fantastic.
somewhere else as well, but in terms of, where I put my energy, where my body takes me is
Where
there.
your body goes?
Yeah.
Yeah, where you focus. Oh
Yeah.
my God. To be connected to how you feel, you trust your intuition, to come from a world of 10 years in the financial industry where I boiler room cold called for 6 years, and then I worked in tech for 10 years. And it's just all head all the time. And it took me so long to begin to understand what you teach now. And I just, it's oh my God, I'm fucking 45. And now this is information. Where was this information 25 years ago or 35 years ago? Or, and it's to women listening to this is the real deal. This is ground zero for sure for anything you want to achieve. And oh my God, I'm so grateful you and I met. I am just so honored to have you in my community. I just feel like I'm in tears right now. I could just start crying. But so yeah, send me all your book and the TED Talk and all your stuff, and I'm gonna absolutely put it in the show notes. And it was such an honor to have you here.
I want my community to know you. And what I love about what we share is you cannot do more of a connection of your body than having your body getting help. It needs help because it's malfunctioning somewhere, right? This is the most we can bring is this is no joke, right? This is who we are and how we navigate that through business.
Oh my God, I love it so much. Well, thank you for being here.
Thank you.
And yeah, we can't wait to have you back really soon.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
That's it for today. If something landed for you, share it with a founder who needs to hear it. That's how this work spreads. Find me on LinkedIn, Instagram, and YouTube at Never Launch on a Friday. And if you want to keep this conversation going, our free Slack community is in the show notes. If you want to learn more about everything we're building, head to neverlaunchonafriday.pro. All the details are there. And if you're a female founder looking to chat one-on-one about where you're stuck, please book a coaching call in the show notes. This work matters, and so do you. See you next week.